More of a controversial topic than I originally expected. The raging debate of what constitutes an impossible doesn't look like it's ending anytime soon. As much as I don't want to pollute Deedz' pure street part with a battle at the barracks tangent, the impossible in this ace part is yet another example of why the barracks should either be stricter about the rap rule or make an addition to the list of banned tricks. Hello, and thank you for joining another episode of Dumb Data, where we break down the numbers so you don't have to. In this breakdown, we'll take a look at Diedrich Galasso, aka Deedz' Ace Trucks part, which dropped on Thrasher's YouTube channel on November 8th, 2021. What did this Enjoy Pro from Norway punch us in the face with in this 3.5 minute part? Let's take a look and dive into some data. Tricks. The 39 tricks in this part are split nearly in half by single shots and 9 lines, made up mostly of transition, rails, flat ground, and Manny combos. Lines. 2 of the lines include 3 tricks, starting with the ollie off the kicker, tray flip on flat, and backside flip down a large 6-stair. The other 3-trick line in Deedz' part is the last line, where he kickflips on flat, frontside nose grinds on the huge bank, then caps off the run with a backside ollie before the B-roll cuts to one of his slams. Flat ground tricks are prevalent in the remaining 7 lines, including a rare hard flip in his second line that was very close to waking up Whacking Ball. One of Deedz' heel flips looked like it was ready to blast off into space. All of the lines are solid, but some of the standouts include the hectic drop-in to backside 360 drop. The thought of dropping into sketchy urban quarter pipes like that is terrifying, and Deedz makes it look easy. This butter bench straight-on nose grind with the back blunt on the round bump to flat bar line oozes style. The frontside kickflip followed by the fakie Manny, fakie ollie down the 6-stair was crazy. A fakie ollie down anything is already scary. Add the fact that you're in a fakie Manny, and we've reached a level of horror on par with the first time watching Hereditary. Side note, one of the B-roll slams from this line was insane. Deedz looks like he made a snap decision at the last second to give the sidewalk the people's elbow. The quick 2-piece ollie up the grate and straight into the barricade front grind reminds us how dangerous that is when the entire obstacle shifts on Deedz' dismount. The opening line from Deedz starts with the part's first flat ground trick, a tray flip, getting noticed by a jogger, before the 90s teen sitcom Saved by the Bell-inspired logo title card spins its way into the center of the screen. Deedz holds on to a bump-to-ledge backside nose blunt, priming us for good times ahead. Single shots. The 19 single shots in this part start with Deedz sneaking onto the vacant Troll Cruise boat and hucking down a 15-stair-sized drop straight into the poop deck. The kickflip into grass that made the cut for being the part's thumbnail includes a bail that somehow turns Deedz into a more attractive Norwegian version of Antonio Banderas. Evolving from the kickflip and the grass, Deedz frontside flips into the downhill bank, getting the eyebrow-raising look of approval from the homie. Showing an affinity for backside board slides, Deedz gets the rail to bounce on his pop-out. Deedz is one of those rare talents who can skate handrails that are attached to the wall. Why not take advantage of an empty shopping center with a nice fakie flip down an indoor 8-stair? Tech is no tough task for Deedz, even if he did slightly tap his back heel on the kickflip backside tail. Not sure if it's the shaved head or the overall style similarities, but is anyone else getting Louis Lopez vibes on this uniquely smooth drop-down fakie Manny fakie flip up the curb? Shout out to Deedz' big toe for holding on by a thread with this wintertime frontside 180 fakie Manny fakie flip. Who needs to tie their shoes when they're so good they can fakie flip Manny anything they look at? One of, if not the heaviest combo in this part is when Deedz makes us think we're watching a simple Manny, then shockingly ollies into the tweaked out nose slide / nose blunt / booger slide. When you can gap a double kickflip this far, there's no penalties for performing an illegal trick in the streets. If you ever wonder what the difference is between an amateur and a pro skater, this kickflip blunt fakie is a good reference for what it takes to be the latter. It's safe to say that Deedz, who's not afraid to jump on rails, huck, get tech, do manuals, and skate to transition, is in that small club of skaters like Ashad, Yuto, and Grant Taylor types who are all-terrain rippers. On top of all his gifts, Deedz can pop high enough to frontside nose grind on a waist-high electric box. The 20-foot plus long frontside board to fakie doesn't seem to be an issue for Deedz, who traversed this dented rail that includes a fatal nub at the end with relative ease. He doesn't ride for Baker, but this hand touch on the ride-on 50/50 should no doubt get a thumbs up from the boss. The Ender. Name another skater who can board slide a 40-stair rail, land the trick riding full speed into a crowd of humans, and walk away without a scratch, all while looking beautiful doing it. Deedz' Ender calls back to that 2018 Copenhagen Hammer with a backside board down the world's grassiest 30-something stair set. How can you not fall in love with this guy? That's the face of someone who knows they're guilty of putting a dent in someone's bicycle, but is simultaneously stoked that he board slid the entire handrail. The impossible. More of a controversial topic than I originally expected. The raging debate of what constitutes an impossible doesn't look like it's ending anytime soon. As much as I don't want to pollute Deedz' pure street part with a battle at the barracks tangent, the impossible in this ace part is yet another example of why the barracks should either be stricter about the rap rule or make an addition to the list of banned tricks. Deedz' back foot never leaves his board, properly fulfilling the rap requirements that constitute an impossible. People arguing that the foot doesn't need to wrap the whole time for a trick to be called an impossible? Okay, fine. I don't necessarily disagree with you. The problem is that Steve Berra told Costin to specify that if you wrap your impossible on offense, the opponent must wrap on defense.
Last letter gets 2 tries.
Don't forget the impossible rule.
What's the impossible? Wait.
You wrap your impossible.
Oh, you wrap your impossible. Now we gotta write that down.
I like that.
Hold on, let me get.
I like that a lot.
Okay, if your opponent wraps his impossible, you have to wrap your impossible.
Jagger's foot did not wrap this trick. He could have picked one of hundreds of tricks to do on his second turn on offense, and his choice was this half impossible, half 3-shove abomination. In Jagger's defense, the issue is less about him than it is about Steve Berra going out of his way to make a wrapping demand. Is it outrageous to expect that wrapping an impossible means your back foot is always connected to your board, like Deedz does here? Here's some more examples. I'm leaning on wanting to agree with those who say this trick should be banned from Battle at the Barracks. It's too controversial for a high-stakes competition. Mr. Deedz. This is a wide gap. I'd venture to guess we're looking at a 10-foot long Uppsala, Switzerland railway station based impossible here. Overall impression. Gary Rogers took what you could call a medium-sized on this part on skate line.
Deedz, I know what company is for, but you didn't quite ace this one. This one, Deedz, going about a solid 8. You don't want 10 out of 10, Deedz. That creativity gets annoying. It's too good. And also, man, you might want to get some better posture. That lean over is going to attack you. You're going to be looking like the hunchback of Notre wherever the you at.
To be fair, a video part for a truck company isn't typically expected to have the heaviest skating go down, and from what I understand, even includes throwaway footage from sessions that wouldn't see the light of day otherwise. The diversity Deedz displays is worthy of a double thumbs up. When I think of why this part is so special, that kickflip blunt to fakie comes to mind, and honestly, that impossible was a long heave over the tracks. Plus, Plus, Deedz has steez and personality, and that in and of itself will always carry a video part. Well, that pretty much covers the breakdown for Deedz' Ace Trucks video part. Thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to Dumb Data, click the notification bell to stay on top of new episodes, and drop a like if you enjoyed this breakdown. See you on the next Dumb episode.